Are we off? Wow, impressive. Started straight away. Hello everyone. I need to, well, I thought we had an intro, but we'll work with it. Oh Lord. Well, you know I'm back because everything's going Pete Tongue already. Yeah, hello, we are live, well not as usual, we've not done it for a while. Back because everything's going. We're going to be doing a drive on Arkala today. The new beta is out, so I thought why not, we'll take it for a spin and you can all see what's been happening. I know a lot of you probably have already seen it because you'll have seen it on Fulleylove channel, and I think Wally's done a video. Quite a few people have done videos already. It came out last week, but I thought I'll do one. So just bear with me, I just post a link in Discord. Right, that's that done. Hello Colin, how are you? Right, so we are going to be driving today the C400. I may do the return. I'm not decided. I'll do it in a different bus. I've not driven the C400 on Arkala yet, and I've not driven it for a long time, so I thought I'd take it for a spin. We are driving the C400, as I said, on the 63, I believe, to Arkala. Yep. So we'll unpause it and we will get the bus set up. Just turn the sound up a little bit. Tell me if it's too loud, by the way. Right. Okie dokie, I forgot how this bus works. 6300. Oh no, it's not like that, is it? It's 6301. Is this got an MS hopping? By any chance? Oh no, here we are. Excellent news. I'm good, thanks, Colin. So as always, Fulleyl's channel link is in the description below, where you can go and he does regular updates and stuff on Arkala, and he does devlogs and things sometimes. You can go and check him out there. Also, as it says in the top left, the map is work in progress, so don't ask for links or anything because I won't give them to you. And don't mither other people for links when they post screenshots because it's just not nice. Right, so we'll pull around onto stand. I've not driven this bus in a long time. I don't know why my wheel started auto centering, but we'll work with it. What time do we leave? 12:09. 12:03. Right, just skip time a little bit. So you will obviously see bugs and things on the run. The map, it's not representative of the final product. Obviously there's a lot of things that need doing. This livery is made by the fabulous Macaulay. Yeah, it's a really nice livery. That it comes on the ALX 400 as well, and I think he's doing it on the B7 RLE as well. The Veiling, which is coming soon. Hi Sam and hi Gabri. How are you two? It feels like ages since I spoke to everyone because I've not streamed in so long. It's good to be back there. I just hope my PC and internet enjoy streaming. I've left it a long while. Hello Leo, you alright? Let me know if you can hear my sound twice or anything, or if there's any sound issues you want the game going up or down, and I can alter that for you. No, I mean, I know I spoke to you, but I mean everyone on stream. Oh, you'll be fine, Gabri, don't worry. Just be yourself. I started college last week. So but I've been enjoying it. It's been good. I also started driving lessons in real life now, which is also fun. Have I got AI switched on? Yes, I have. I'll just turn it up a little bit. We actually get some cars and hopefully it won't break the game. He started school 2 weeks ago. Wow, 2 weeks ago? She went back in August. Or was it about 2 weeks ago? Oh, OMSI, don't do this. I know I shouldn't have messed with AI settings. Just give it a second. How has everyone been then? Actually, I must be spoken to one in a while. Oh, it's freezing here. I think it loads in still here.
Jesus, he's driving this like a madman.
What's your badge number? I'm going to report you.
Yeah, it's been quite hot here for the last couple of days. Well, not today. Sorry, these last couple of days since about Thursday. It's been a bit cooler, but before that it's been quite hot. Which obviously in Britain is a surprise. I should also mention that I'm using Fully's reshade effects as well, which come with the beta, so I can't give links to them either. So sorry about that, but hello Adam, how are you?
Can I have a return, please?
You don't really drive anymore. I'm not too bad, thanks. Nice to be back doing streams. Feels like it's been ages. Basically, the only thing, well, there's been quite a few changes on the route as well, but the main change you'll notice is since the last stream, like I say, you've probably all seen it on Fulleylove anyway and other people's videos.
Hello. Give us a return, love.
The main
Thank you, driver.
change you'll see is that we can now drive further in the city centre. The route is now complete, basically. It's not complete with scenery, there are still like bird patch and stuff, but the route is now complete. You can drive the entire thing all the way into Arkala and to Stockton Row where the route terminates. It's about an hour and 20 minutes-ish, an hour and a half. There's also a short journey, which is the 64 and 63E, which go to Oxenden, which is a town. It's in about the middle of the route, really. The second biggest town on the map, the first being Arkala City Centre. And so we might do, this is 63, so I'll probably do the 63 up to Arkala.
Alright, return ticket please.
The 64
Lovely,
back down to Oxenden, and then I'll do another stream another day, where I do the 64 up to Arkala, or the 63 from Oxenden to Arkala, and the 64 back, or something like that. I just won't be, it's going to be not as long of a stream, it'll probably be a couple of hours, because it is quite a long run. But it's one of the few maps that, even though it's a long run, you don't get bored of doing the route. It's quite hard to do in OMSI, so you get maps that are very long, like Hertfordshire was very long, but after you've driven it once or twice, it just gets a bit dull and tedious. You get maps like West Country, which are a bit shorter, but you can drive quite a lot. Where this, it's a long map. If you're doing the full route, it's a good 3-hour round trip, but yet it doesn't feel like that. You can do up to Arkala and back to Pendle quite happily in an afternoon, and then not realise you've passed 3 hours of your time. It's such a nice drive, and it's not even finished. So when it's done, fully will be, well, it'll probably be the best OMSI. It will probably be the best OMSI right-hand drive map. Something very, very good will have to come along to beat it. Very good. Because it is, like I say, it's so nice to drive. And I can't think of anything in development that beats this map. Including my own. Because not only is it nice, the scenery isn't done over the top, so it feels very
a day rider, please.
realistic.
Lovely. Cheers.
And not only does it feel realistic, the road markings, the road layout, it all makes sense. Everything is done, so it just makes sense. There are a few things that are questionable, but there's roads that are questionable in real life. Like this bus lane, for example, to the right of us. It's a bus lane, however, there's parked cars in it, so it's completely useless. But that is something that a council would do. They would put a bus lane in and be like, wow, look at my bus lane. But then, I don't know why there's a flashing warning light on my dash. Just noticed. Interesting. Got fuel on set. Yeah. I don't know what that's all about. But it's an E400, so you know. Is there an ambulance behind us? Just go through that. Yeah. It's just very realistic. Like I say, that the parked cars in the bus lane makes no sense, but it's something that I can't do. They'd be like, wow, look at our bus lane, it's to aid public transport, you know, etc, etc. But then we're going to put parked cars in it so no one can use it. And as you get into the city centre, you will notice that it is heavily based off Birmingham if you are from that area. You will probably recognise a lot of the roads and
Just a single, please, mate.
and things, because even
Thanks very much. Hello,
I
mate.
recognise a few of the roads.
Return ticket, please.
So
Alright, return ticket, please.
if you're a regular around there, you will see the roads and you will realise where they are and things. changed a little bit since the original betas and since the map was originally developed, but it's still quite recognisable. Hey, East Midlands Railway fan, how are you? It's still very recognisable and a very recognisable area. It's been rebuilt a couple of times, I believe, but it's never lost that feel of Crest Hill.
Oh, hello. Joyrider, love. Hiya, driver.
Excellent.
Ooh, give me a die rider, mate.
Hello, driver. Can I have a single, please?
So as I have said, and I will keep saying through the video, through the stream, sorry, the map is work in progress, obviously. It is a beta, so no download links will be provided if you ask for them, but please don't ask for them because you're not going to get anywhere. And there will be bugs and things, so don't be like, oh my god, this area's got no scenery and stuff like that, because it's just not helpful. What's it called?
It's a day ticket, lad.
I've got a graphics on it. It is fully free
It's a
shaded.
day ticket, lad.
Again, no download
Return,
price
please.
for that. That's the fully free.
Oh, give us a
A single ticket, please. Hello. One day rider, please. Ah, thank you very much.
Hello, driver. Can I have a day ride, please?
I have turned the game down a little bit now, so I hope you can hear fully. That's just a message saying that you can't hear me properly. I hope that's a bit better for you. If you need it going down anymore, then just let us know. I'm doing the 63 from Pendle Station to Arkala City Centre, and then I'll probably do a 64E back from Arkala to Oxenden. I know, I think Fully has streamed it a few times. I've not done any stream. I've been off YouTube for quite a while, but I am going to start trying to come back. Obviously it won't be like that where I'm back doing things regular again, but I will try and do the odd things now and again. I think a few people have done videos on it. I think Walid's done a video on it. I don't know there any. I think a few other people have. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Oh, hello, day driver. Please. Can I have a return, please?
Hey man, give me a single.
Hey, driver.
Seems to be quite a lot getting on at every step a week.
Thanks very much.
Here's a day ticket, lad.
Like getting full. I know. I thought I would have gone. I do love this livery by Mac. I didn't know if I would like it on the E400 or not. It looked gorgeous on the ALX. Oh, there's a bit of a raised mark in there. It looked gorgeous on the ALX. I didn't know if I'd like it on the E400, but it does look it's just wow. I'm impressed. Very impressed. Saying that the Mac always does a good livery.
Hello, lad. Single, please.
So the area that we're approaching now of the crest
Single.
is one of the areas that has had a massive rebuild since the last beta. So you will notice that from here until basically Chester Stanmore has been rebuilt. So you will notice the scenery's changed a lot more, and it's a lot more nice. It was lovely before, but it's a lot nicer now. Mine's still late. Yeah, I'm 3 minutes late. The timetables are actually very tight, but it's quite nice because you get areas that are really tight, especially areas like this where there's a lot of traffic lights and stuff, where you can quite easily build up a lateness. But then you'll go into the country, and because obviously you're on faster roads and stuff, you then start to earn your you then start to, what's the word, become earlier again, and start to spread out a lot more. So, but Fully has, so like the next village of Chester Stanmore, Fully's left probably about a 5-minute timing point there. So if you arrive on time, then that's fine, but you've got 5 minutes to catch up with lateness. Or it's about 5 minutes anyway, which is a really nice touch, I think, because it allows you, if you are running late, to catch up with time, so you're not running late into the city centre.
May I have a single, please?
But
lovely.
one of the things that people tend to not get right in when developing maps is the route layout. So routes in real life tend to go, it doesn't always happen, but they tend to go from somewhere of less interest to an area of bigger interest, and this does it absolutely perfectly. It goes from the city centre into, well, the shorter route, the 63 and 4E, goes into this quite large town of Oxenden, but then you have, so they're more frequent, but then I think it's like every half an hour or something, it then gets extended down here and to Pendle, which is obviously a smaller village. So it keeps the villages connected with Arkala, but it also keeps the more substantial towns connected more frequently, which is a really nice touch. In this map, as far as I'm allowed to say, I think there'll be the 63, the 4, the 63E, the 64E, and the X2. But
hello, can I have a day class?
Fully has talked about other routes, so I don't know if there'll be any more or not. Well, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, so I'm not going to say anything. But they're what have been announced so far to the public, I believe. But if you want up-to-date things, like I say, go subscribe to Fully, is in the description. Also his thread on Fellas Film. I don't think I've linked that in the description actually, but on Fellas Film he posts updates and stuff with the map, so go and follow that. Also join his Discord as well, that's in his channel links and stuff, so
Just a single, please.
he posts updates about the map there as well. So as you can probably see, this area has been heavily reworked from the last beta. That sign is in a very inconvenient place. And currently there are the 63, 64, 63 and 64E. Hi Johnny, how are you?
Hi, handsome.
But when we get to the city centre, you will see that there are a lot of AI routes, and I mean a lot of AI routes. The city centre is, because like at this point you'll pass buses occasionally, and then as you get closer to like Oxenden, you pass a few more, and it builds up, and then when you get to the city centre, there are hundreds of vehicles. It feels busy, which is nice, because there's no point building a city but then not making it feel busy. Yeah, there's no point building a city centre and not making it feel busy. That is. So he's done it very well, and it's pretty well optimised, to be fair. The only thing that does start to bring the frames down in the city centre is the buses, that are the amount of AI stuff. But if you've got a PC that can't handle that, you can always turn down the AI vehicles. It's pretty hard in OMSI to make a busy, bustling city centre without dropping any frames. So, but it is done pretty well. It will drop when certain buses load in and stuff, but it can't really be helped. Past Theresa May dancing in a wheat field. Kind of reminds me of the 73 and 73. Yeah. 73 goes from the city centre to the airport, but then the 73 extends beyond the airport. So yeah. So that's what I mean, buses will need to go to the airport more frequently because it's the airport. So that's what it's like on Arkala. You've got more frequently, you've got buses going to Oxenden because it's quite a substantial town, so that needs to be connected with the city centre more. But then it's like every half an hour or every hour or something like that, it extends all the way to Pendle. So if you do spawn in at Pendle and you've got a bit of a wait for a bus, that's why, because there are buses in between, but they go short to Oxenden. Oh yeah, Boris hanging off his pylon. That's another thing to look out for when you've got the map. There are a lot of Easter eggs around. So you've got the obvious ones like Theresa May in a field, Boris hanging from his pylon, but on signs and stuff you've got people's names, and there's lots of little Easter eggs that you can look out for. I'll show you mine if I can remember where they are. I think I've got two. I know where one of them is, but I can't remember where the other one is. I might not have the other one actually, I can't remember. Oh, I've got the 22, which you'll see in the city centre, which is the bus to Stoughton. And I've got a building in the city centre as well. Pretty good place to stop from that Range Rover.
Jesus, he's driving this like a madman.
So this road is I think it's the same as what it was before, only it's completely redone all the scenery down there. Another thing you'll notice as well is like West Country, it has shadows. I don't think this road has it, but the last road you was on, you will have seen them. Underneath trees and lampposts and stuff, there are all shadows. It just makes the route feel a bit more realistic and helps OMSI with its terrible graphics. So I believe when it is released, it will have fully 3 shade effects that you can apply if you want. I don't quote me on that though, I'm not 100% sure. It'll, there you go, there's the shadows you can see now. It's just because OMSI cannot render shadows, that's the word I was looking for. And it just makes it feel a lot more realistic. Just give it a sec. I think what happens here is it loads back. It loads Crestel again, because and he has said this before, he made a loop almost, which was quite clever. So I know it used to load Crestel, I don't know if it still does. It would explain the big drop in frames. Well, not frames, it would explain the bit of a lag spike. Hello Nitworth, how are you? The C400 is actually quite nice to drive, not gonna lie. Seeing as this was the bus that set the benchmark for UK buses, it still does hold up well. It must be a good 5 years old, 6 years old. It says London because this E400 is, well, this was the regional variant of the Citybus 400 that comes with London. This was released quite a bit earlier than London. It must have been about 5 years ago this was released. So because of that, it's debranded for London. So it says London on the steering wheel instead of Alexander Dennis. It says Citybus 400 instead of Enviro 400 on the dash. On the rear, on the vents, it says London instead of Enviro 400. It's basically just debranded.
Thank you, driver.
So you can get a branding patch for it that updates the textures so they're more Alexander Dennis-y. I don't know what the correct term is, but it's not. I've just not installed it. It's not an ex-Londoner because technically it was built before London. However, it's in real life it would say Alexander Dennis, but obviously they can't use that because London's a payware product, so it says London instead of that. Even though this is a freeware bus, so really it could have been debranded. Anyway, this is Chester Stanmore. So this is where I say you will catch up time. In fact, I'll just pull to the front. Because I know there is a few AI buses that come down here, so you will notice now I am 1.9 minutes early, but 1.9 minutes late. However, I believe 12:36.
Single, please.
Hello.
What?
Yeah, so you only arrive here
Single.
at 12:34, but you leave at 12:45. So you do get a bit of layover time. So if you are late, you can catch up here because you get like 10 minutes, 11 minutes. So if you're late, you do catch up, which is quite a nice touch. Also, we have a street deck on the 64 over here and an MMC on the 63. Ignore the pathing. It's these are Waleed's liveries, by the way. So the map comes with quite a lot of liveries. You've got the heritage liveries, which are done by Mac. They're on the ALX 400 and the E400. You've then got the branded 60s livery, which is done by Waleed. Oh, it's testing me this. You've got the standard green line livery, which is done by Murray or KM, who does the Yorkshire liveries as well. You've got the Gildham Gazelle, which I think is done by Waleed. The 22, which is done by Waleed. The 6, which is done by Murray. The X9, which is done by Mac. And Oracle, which is done by Mac. Oracle is like an independent operator which runs alongside Green Line on the 63 and 64. I don't think there's any other liveries. I don't think I've missed any. Oh, and the X2, which is done by Waleed as well. I think that's them all. I'm driving the E400 because I think I've driven pretty much every bus there is on Arkala now, but I've never driven the E400, so I thought, well, it's come with the livery. I'll take it out because I do. It's not a bad bus, to be fair. It is very nice to drive, actually. It's a bit wobbly, but it is nice to drive. Stoughton is, well, I'm not going to lie, since the beta I have not done anything on it. Now, because I've been pathing Arkala for fully, that's obviously been at a deadline, so I've had to do Arkala. However, now I've finished Arkala, I can start working on Stoughton again. I have been in town recently getting pictures of buildings so I can remove the dreadful Google Maps textures and put some proper textures in. Are you parked? Is it waiting for me by any chance? Alright, okay. So I can get rid of the dreadful Google Maps texture and actually put some proper textures in. Yeah, the Omnidecker will be a cracking bus. From what I've seen of it, it does look and sound very nice. I'm not an expert on omnideckers. I've only been on a few. There's not many that operate around here, so I'm not. I don't. It's not like a B7 where I know the gearbox. There's, I know everything pretty much about them. An omnidecker, I'm not a big expert on because we don't have many around here. However, from what I've seen of it and what I have been on them in real life, it does look very nice. Gem's done a cracking job with that. I would disagree. I would say the best scan here is probably the L94UB. No, actually, I will say the Omnidecker and Omnicity are the best. The L94 is nice, but it's not got massive amounts of power. It's quite flat. Yeah, we don't really have a Vision. Have a few, I think, but I think that's the only operator that have omnideckers. I could be wrong with that though, and I can't think of any our way apart from Vision. Not an expert on the other side of Manchester. Yeah, I don't think that Manchester has any. We've never really been a big Scania. We tend to be Volvos and ADL, really. The only really Scanias we've had with a substantial operator is the what they call it, the Omnicities, the Bendies with First, but there was only about 20 or 30 of them. And then we had the X401 CSG, which was the L94 UA with First, and the L94 UBs, ultra lows, and flow lines, which First had. I know Vision have got quite a few second-hand omnideckers, but apart from that, I don't think we've really had many Scanias. Oh, Wing Coachways used to have a few. Yeah, it's same with Stagecoach. That like pretty much most Stagecoach depots have Scania E400s, but Manchester has never had any. I don't think they have anyway. I know we don't have any now. They're all ADL. We've never really been a big Scania buyer. No, we've never been a big Scania buyer. We tend to be ADL with Stagecoach and First, really. Buying E200s, 300s, 400s, 400 MMCs. We don't really have any 200 MMCs actually either. We have a few in Stockport, I think, but that's about it. And then you've got First buying the Volvos, obviously the B7 RLEs, B10 BLEs, B10 LAs, B90Ls, etc, etc. Arriva have always had VDL stuff, so they've got the Commanders, the Pulsars, the Cadets. They had some Presidents as well. We've never really been a Scania buyer. Anyway, let's get the engine going because we are leaving in a second. Got another minute before we go. How's the frame rate and stuff as well, by the way? Is it all flowing nicely? Excellent. I think that's probably one of the first times in my entire life of playing OMSI I've ever timed 10 minutes. Well, it was about 8.5 really, because I was a minute and a bit late. Oh god, yeah, sorry Studio Polygon, man, I completely forgot about that. Do you still want it then or not?
Hello.
Oh,
Return
hello.
ticket, please.
Single, please.
Right, DM me later and I'll sort it for you.
Single, please.
Ooh, give me a dire. Lovely. Cheers.
So we're leaving Chester Stanmore now, and we're going into Oxenden. I believe this is where the start of Oxenden is. Oxenden is like I say, probably the second biggest town on the map, and it's where the shuttle services terminate. So I think you'll have. I haven't looked at the timetables, but I believe it's either the route's either every 10 minutes or every half an hour to Pendle, but then in between you either have, either 10 minutes, every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes to Oxenden, and then every 20 or half an hour to Pendle, I believe. I'll have a look when we get to Arkala about that. I can't quite remember. It will say on the branded liveries, actually, I should have looked. If we see one, I'll check it. Yeah, I think the Omnidecker will be a good bus to drive. I'm more of a Volvo person than a Scania, so the Valen will probably stay at the top of the list of what I drive, but the Omnidecker will definitely be up there, and that's nothing against Jem, that is just because I'm not really a massive Scania fan.
Day rider, please.
Like, they've never fussed me in real life, like I'd much rather have a Volvo. My favourite Volvo that isn't with Drom would still have to be the B10, because they still are running, to be at 22 years old, some of them, they are still running with Transdev, I believe is one of the last operators to use them in regular public service. So it would still have to be the B10. However, as they are very rare to come by now, it's still the B7 RLE, the Euro 3 ones. Will always be one of my favourite buses. I absolutely love the Euro 3 B7s. But if we're talking about not withdrawn, then my favourite buzz will always be the B10LA.
A return ticket, please. Thank you very much.
I'm currently getting 43 FPS. We are about to go into Oxenden, which it will drop a bit because it is a busier place. But it performs very well. The only lag spot really is the city centre, but that is sheerly because the amount of AI. If you turn AI down, it performs very well. In the editor, it performs very well. So this is where it's loading in Oxenden now. But I'm still getting like in the 20s, like dipping between 25 and 30 FPS. And bear in mind this buzz isn't as optimised as other buzzers.
Return, please.
It's obviously because it's older.
Thanks very much.
It's not as, like I say, it's not as optimised as say the G3. So you might be getting about 30 to 35 in the G3 around here. Thank you very much, Coastliner. These graphics are fully reshade mod. I will not give a link as they are part of the beta, but I'm sure if Fully wants to release them, he will do. Or they might be packaged with Arkala. So we are getting below 20 FPS now coming into Oxenden, but there is a 200 MMC and a 400 MMC loaded in, as well as my buzz. So I don't know if they were early. That's some Tigo
Single,
Road.
please. Thank you very much.
53. We are slightly early.
One day rider, please, driver.
Just a single, please, driver.
Can I have a return ticket, please, driver?
Alright, return ticket.
There are a few routes that operate around here. Oh, another livery. I've just thought of another one. There is the 83, I believe it is, run by Headingham on the 200 MMC. We might see it on AI, I don't know. I think it stops around here. 83B, sorry. I don't know who the Headingham livery is by, so I can't comment on that. However, I know it comes around here, so we may see one. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know which way it goes actually, whether it goes left or... Let me have a look on this bus stop. Oh, I don't think Fully's thingied them up yet. No. I'm not sure which way it goes then. So I don't know if we'll see one or not. The regionals E200 will be nice, yeah. I don't like E200s in real life, but I do enjoy driving the C200. We are on the 63, aren't we? Yeah. Just double checking because the 64 turns right there. Come on, OMSI, stay with. We might be loading that 400 MMC in again, and that's what's froze the game. E200s in Manchester. They are, yeah. I mean, I think it's because of COVID, really. Because obviously they need bigger buses on for social distancing, so better not anymore. But if you want E200s, come to Wigan. I don't know why you would want an E200 anyway, but we'll ignore that. Yeah, Miles did a cracking job with that livery. So there's Murray's. When I was on about that's the base green line livery, which Murray did a cracking job with. And I'm in the heritage one.
Oh, give us a single.
And when I find a branded one, I will.
One way.
Well, you saw the brand 64 one and the 60s one in Chester Stanmore. I didn't look at the frequency though. I think it's every 10 minutes. I think it's every 10 minutes to Oxford and every 20 to Pendle. It's weird down here, Stagecoach haven't got a load of route in Plymouth, but recently noticed that Plymouth. Alright. Okay.
Return, please. Lovely. Cheers.
We now have first Devon kind of being a thing now with the Dharma Expo next. Yeah. So we're now leaving, we're not leaving, this is all kind of still Oxenden. But we're going towards the hospital, Queen Mary's Hospital. Going towards Queen Mary's Hospital and then into the city centre from there. So we have been going for an hour now. As I said, it is a substantial drive. I don't know where she's walking to.
Hello. It's in, lad.
Well, I mean, that pedestrian shouldn't have walked out into the road. I'll bring that up with Fully later. I've not actually done a bug test of the map yet. It's only my second time driving this beta anyway. well, actually third, I suppose, because I drove an ALX2 on the 63 to Arkala, then a street light on the 64E back to Oxenden. So, well, I've not done a bug report yet. Oh, it performs bar the city centre, which is probably the laggiest area of the map. It performs far better than West Country. The West Country and the what's it called? West Country and the city centre are probably similar like lag.
Hello, is it me? Hello, driver. Can I have a day ride? Cheers, me duck.
Single, please. Thanks very much.
I was going to check something then, but I forgot what it was. I don't know. What was it now? What was it doing? I don't know. I don't know what I was going to do. Oh, is that a branded one? Oh no, that's the 6's livery. Oh. Murray did an absolutely cracking job with that. Oh, it's on the wrong route as well. The Fed, you'll be on one. That is a lovely livery. Oh, it's another 6 as well. Where's our chick? Yeah, okay. I mean, you had your left indicator on, but okay. I can't remember what I was going to do now. It's really annoying me.
Single, please. Gala.
Alright, day rider, please.
That's really bugging me now what I was going to do. Anyway. So we're now approaching the hospital anyway. This is all the same as what you'll have seen. Oh, apart from this island has gone, which I don't know if Fully is still watching because he has been messaging me on Snapchat, but like, why is this island gone? I liked this island. Made that corner fun. Someone want to get on? Oh, we lost texture memory. Oh, interesting. Oh, I've just got a Snapchat, I'm presuming he's... Oh, that explains why that one's lost texture memory.
Alright, mate, give us your return.
It's fine, Fully, just blame the council.
Can I have a day ride, please?
I do use Snapchat, yeah. I think it might be loading in a few buses. One of them could be the street light. Oh no, it's an MMC. That explains that one. Oh, it's the branded one. I can see what the frequency is there. Is it on the back or not? Or is it on it at all? Have a look. Every 10 minutes, so I'm presuming it's every 10 minutes to Pendle, every 10 to Oxenden, every 20 to Pendle. I'd imagine, unless it's every 10 to Oxenden, every half an hour to Pendle. I don't know. I'll check when we get to the end. Are we on time? Are we early? 13:04. We're only a minute early. I'll do the.
Can I have thank you, driver.
Oh, I don't know. Shall I do the return? I'll see what time it is when we get to the city centre. No, actually, I won't do the return because I have got something to do today. I'll do the 64E to Oxenden, which is the return half trip. Obviously, it's the short journey, so. This livery is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's the return. It's the short trip, so I'll do that as a return. Can I get a nice screenshot here? That'll do nicely. Yeah, it's not a bus I would drive as often as like the street deck and something, but it is nice to go back to every now and again, like you say. Well, Bog, I mean, I could drive a certain bus, but you won't let me, so yeah. I know, yeah. Good answer. Disgraceful. Disgraceful. Now, the E400 isn't that bad. Not. There's worse buses. I could have gone in this solo. Wow. Can you imagine? Shut up, Fully. Oh, look who's reared their ugly head. Actually, while you're here, this canopy, every beta I've told you about this. So, like, what are you doing? This canopy here. Well, you could, if you're not going to remodel the building, just put a sign on saying that it's got a height restriction under it. And then you don't have to remodel the building. That's all you need, just a height restriction sign. They have them in Manchester City Centre. Well, they do after a street deck ploughed into the top of it. Well, that's it, isn't it, Bob? But like, we're not actually that busy, to be fair. There are plenty of seats. Yeah, Fully is just lazy. That's why he's swanned off to Cardiff to avoid doing work. Oh, can't wait to get battered. The only reason I'm in the C400 Bob is because I think I've literally driven, well, bar other buses, I've driven
I'd like a day
practically everything I'm allowed to drive on Arkala now, so I'm just doing something a little bit different. It's fine, Fully, just don't worry about it. Like, one bay 3 area is far too many. My side wiped out. Exactly. Oh, thanks, chick. I'll drive it on the 64. Hey, look at me. Privileged and everything. If you don't want me to, it's fine. I'll drive something else. I'm not bothered. I can wait till the next beta. I was expecting that fully. I was expecting him to go, you can drive the B7 and then just turn around and put TL on the end. Drive the B7 then. I won't say no to a good drive of the B7. I'll explain the lag.
Thank you very much.
I'm 2.5 minutes early.
Oh my god, it's close.
Not the place, Fully, not the place. Oh.
Single, please.
I know, but like, I always enjoy a challenge, so. If you can get round, then you may as well go round, don't you? Like, just loading in the optimised map. Jokes. It'll be loaded in 18,000 buses. What an amateur dev. Next you'll be saying, Philly, you don't even know what detached from parent is, or whatever the official name of it is called, I can't remember.
Alright, mate, give us your
I know, yeah, Bog, where's Oxford and the Big Ten? We all just don't know how to use, we all just don't know how to be a dev. Rubbish. Just amateurs. Amateur-referee. I see you've not fixed these lights fully, so they work the way like they were originally intended, but will it work with it? Oh, look at you. Full of surprises, but
Just a single,
Hello,
please,
mate.
driver. Thank you very much.
May I have a single, please?
Alright, return ticket, please. Lovely. Cheers.
I would skip time, but I'm too scared to in the city centre that it'll crash, so we'll just sit here for 4 minutes. Not quite as good as Fully then. Oh my lord. I feel like we're on an episode of MS Exposed here. Like Jeremy Kyle's gonna walk in any minute. So I think this is where the last stream terminated. I don't know if it went to Jensen Hill or not. And I last drove it on stream. I can't remember. If it did, this was the if it didn't, this was the last place you saw. So from here we'll all be new. I can't remember. You'll know, Fully. Was this the last place? Was this the terminus of the last beta? I don't know. Was it at Jensen Hill? Alright, okay, so you'll have seen the next like 2 minutes then. And then after that it'll all be new. Alright, okay. Must have been the one before that was here then. Shut up. You're the amateur as well, Fully. Can you believe it? Like, look at all this empty scenery. What an amateur dev, honestly. Ridiculous. It's funny that as well, because all the buildings are yours as well. Wow. The best bit is most of my buildings that are in Stoughton are for another map. I did my roadworks barriers, love. That's about it, really. Just basically nick them from Arkala. That's not my sister, that's someone outside of the house at the back.
Hi there.
Joyrider, love. Thank you very much.
A return ticket, please.
Joyrider, love.
Oh, it's an MMC, wow. Wait, is that 3 MMCs or is that a street deck? I can't. Oh, it's a street, I was going to say. Christ. Wigan doesn't have a ring road. Bolton has half a ring road, it doesn't have a full ring road. But like Fully said, the only reason we have ring roads is because most of our cities aren't newly built. They are old and old road layouts and can't cope with the amount of traffic, so the whole reason of a ring road is to divert people around the city centre. Oh well, I'll see you in a minute then, Fully. Yeah, the ring road for London is the M25, really. But it was originally, I believe, planned to have 4 motorway ring roads. But only one of them, well, the M25 was about, I think it was like 2 of the ring roads, and they bodged connected them together, so it became the M25.
Hi there.
Single, please. Thank you very much.
Return, please. Lovely. Cheers. Single. Lovely. Cheers. And slightly early.
Did you enjoy that tunnel? Is it scary? Oh, God's sake. God's sake. Oh. So we are now coming into the city centre, under, I believe, Fully will tell me now, but I think this is based off the Bull Ring in Birmingham, so if you're from Birmingham you'll recognise all of this probably. I don't know. Just wait for my OMSI to finish screaming as it loads in the city centre.
Hello, mate. Just a single, please, mate.
It's just BTEC Birmingham, love. Is there not a way for you to make these lampposts be on like all of the time? Because I feel like they almost definitely would be. Stupid place to stand. Just go and hope we're not killed. I'm presuming Fully's gone again. So what the 63 and 64 essentially do, well, as you'll see in a minute, is they go around like what would be, well, it's not really the back, but kind of the back of the city centre, around, terminate back round there, and then come round here, do a left there, no, sorry, a right there, and then down here again, and then meet back up with the route. Oh, I said, oh, I can't remember what I said. Oh, you know the lampposts underneath the shopping centre? Would there not be a way to keep them so they're on all the time? So, like, you can actually see? Or is that not possible? I've never made lampposts, so I don't know whether you can do that or not. Ah, okay. I presume you just script the traffic lights so that, the lampposts so they're like traffic lights so they always illuminate. I don't know, I'm not an expert on these things. I mean, you're a spanner, so you do work here, I suppose. Sorry, not you are a spanner, you have a spanner. Well, you are a spanner, but we'll ignore that. You have to have a good throw to get it from Wales. Right, there we are anyway, that's the 63. The full route. I hope you enjoyed that. Now I have been given permission from I have been given permission from Bog to use the B7 RLE on the return, so we can do that. Show you, but bear in mind this is the old beta, so you will have already, if you've watched Fully Driving, you'll have seen it on Fully's channel. There is, obviously it doesn't reflect the final product, etc, etc. Thanks everyone. Do we have any repaints for... I don't think we do we, for the veiling? Just have to drive it and wipe them. I need to also put the half in. Oh, nice. Oh, right, okay. No, it's fine. I'll just drive the white one. I'll just have to reload OMSI then, since it didn't like live. Bear with peeps. Just give it a minute. You know what OMSI's like. Oh, that'll be why we've not seen much AI. Because I spawned in on a Sunday. Didn't think about that. I wondered what I thought there was supposed to be more AI than that. Didn't think about the fact that it was a Sunday. Pretty clever of me. No, my buses are. My AI is on 1004. I mean, I have seen quite a lot of buzzes. I just thought I'd normally seen more than that, but maybe it was just me, because I've been looking at chat as well instead of looking at the road constantly. So it might have just been me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My AI's on 1,004, as in 1,004, like the fourth option, the top option. As in 4 being. I didn't mean it like 1,004. I meant it as in the slider on the top bar is up to 1,000 for the amount of buzzes that can spawn, and then underneath it says priority options, and that's on 4. Of course, it's not 1,004 when it only goes up to 1,000. Them things on the side of your head, love, they're called ears. Nah, I think it. Nah. I said 1,004. But yeah, actually, sure, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Enjoy. See you later, love. Bye bye. Just wait for OMSI to load. It should nearly be done now, and then we can do the return, and then that's me for the day. It's been nice streaming though. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. It's been nice to be back. Not obviously been here. When was the last thing? What was the last thing I did? Oh, I did the 78 in the lakes, but that weren't really that was just an upload. It went. When was the last OMSI thing I did? Oh, when the London Gen 3 came out 4 months ago. Jesus, and before that was 5. Need to pull my finger out. Get back on the OMSI game. It's taking its time. Oh, there we go. I know, sorry Gabri, my OMSI crashed and we got into the city centre and then it's just taken a while to load again. But we seem to be here now. I don't know whether it's actually finished loading yet, but we'll just give it a second. Oh, there we are. we'll spawn in. We'll get in what's it called? The B7, seeing as I've been given permission. Now, obviously, as with the map, the B7 is part of the upcoming Veiling Classic pack. Sorry, not Classic. The Veiling pack for Steam by Master Switch. I have been given it as a beta, obviously. No download links will be provided for the bus, or any of the other Veilings for that matter, or the map. So don't ask, because you're not going to get. That's all I really need to say on that. I hope you enjoy. Hello, Leo. I hope you enjoy the Veiling, because I know it's probably my most driven bus. It's definitely a very, very nice drive, and when it comes out, it'll be extremely nice, and I think you'll all enjoy it. It's the Euro 5 B7 RLE Eclipse 2 that I'll be taking on the 64E. I mean, I've not driven them in real life, but from a passenger point of view, it performs exactly how they should be in real life. It is very, very nice to drive. So, I think you'll all enjoy it. I know it's a first to the channel. I know Fully's driven it before, I think. Yeah, he has on stream. I think Siler has as well on stream. But I have had it for probably a month or two now. But I've never been allowed to show it off. I don't have access to the Classics pack, as it's not been thingied yet. It's not been given out, so I don't know whether that. I don't know whether the people who are testing the Veiling will get the Veiling Classics. I don't know. That's a bog. I'm on to 64E. Do we get anything new? There you go, 1338. That'll do me fine. Right, we might have to turn this up slightly because it's not the loudest of buzz. If it's too loud, I'll turn it down there.
Fire system pressure okay.
Just let it load it, there we are. Just turn it up a little bit more. Let me know if it's too loud. We want the 60. Oh no, sorry, this is MS in it. No, it'll be. Oh, I'm trying to remember the number. 3064. Is that right or not? Come on, OMSI, stay with me. This repaint that I'm in, it may be 4K, so it might go black around the city centre. The Hoff should be working. Oh, come on, game. I don't know the code. Let me see if it'll. 64 to Oxenden. There we are. Wait for this B5 to shift. We can pull around onto stand. What time do we leave? 39. Mongoose hasn't done that many liveries for Arkala. Sorry about that, I just had to bob off mic a sec. Mongoose hasn't done that many liveries for Arkala. He's only done the full adverts, I think. Waleed has probably done the most, and then Murray, and then Mac, I'd say. I did go through them before. Waleed has done the 60s branding, the Gildem Gazelle, the 22, and the X2, I believe. Murray has done the generic green line livery, like the one that's in front now, and the generic green line and the 6s. I think that's it. I feel like there's another. And Mac has done the heritage liveries and the X9. Yeah, he made the poppy livery and the full advert ones. So that's a Mongoose one that's currently parked in my rear end. And that would explain why it took so long to load. That is a Murray repaint, and they're both Murray repaints as well. The livery that I'm in is a Brandon livery, but that's for the veiling, that's not for Arkala, obviously. I don't think Murray's done any of the liveries. I could be wrong. There's also a Headingham livery, which I can't remember who's made that. But I don't believe Murray's made any more liveries than that. Mongoose has made any other liveries than them too. There's a BBC advert one and the poppy liveries, I believe, are the only two. Don't quote me on that though. But he has done a good job of them. Let's escape the grasp of an MMC. So that's another Murray livery there, and this 6th livery is also a Murray livery. That one. I'll show you a Waleed one, a C one. So you might recognise this next road from the original Birmingham Sutton Coalfield. This roundabout did include in there as you came out of ring, street, whatever it's called. There is a lot of liveries that have come with the map. That's well over 10, I believe. I don't actually know which stand I stop in down here. It's this one. Yeah, Arkala I would say will be, well, when it's finished, will be the best UK map. Fully's done an outstanding job with it. Oh, there's Max Heritage livery on the ALX 400, and behind you've got Murray's livery on the MMC, and behind me you've got Murray's livery on the MMC. And there's Waleed's 22 livery. So you do get a good variety of liveries. There are plenty of AI, especially in the city centre. So you do get to see a lot of things driving about. And obviously, for example, if you don't own the street light, then you can always just swap it off AI. I believe Fully's plan is for it to have 2 AI lists. You've got a payware AI list and a freeware AI list. So on the freeware one, you've got stuff like the C400, the ALX 400, stuff like that. And then on the payware, you've got like the B7, you know, etc, etc. Well, there's no harm in doing it. Oh, there's Macaulay's X9 livery. This is probably my favourite livery on the map. It's absolutely gorgeous, that livery. Definitely a 10. I mean, all of the liveries are nice, but with the light up front logo and everything, it's wow. Macaulay did a fantastic job with that. An absolutely phenomenal job. Where's my... Oh, apparently I've got mouse steering. Right, okay, that's interesting. Apologies about this, it's now unloading in the city centre, unloading in right around Jensen Hill, that area, that's why getting a bit of lag. Just give it a second. These two are also Waleed deliveries, the Gildan Gazelle and the X2. I apologise if you can hear dogs barking in the background. We'll just have to put up with that for 5 minutes or so. Yeah, I can do. I can show it off on stream if you want, or whatever. I can, yeah. If you drop me a DM on Discord.fellasfilm, I'll speak to you about it after the stream if you want. Oh, brilliant. Hang on, let me shut my windows. Bear with. Right, hopefully that's a bit better now. You won't be able to hit the lawnmower as much. Yep, Josh, as it says in the top left, obviously don't ask for links and stuff, you won't be given them. It does not reflect the final product, etc, etc. The buzz is still work in progress, the map is still work in progress, so you know the drill by now. And probably the next time I show it off, it will be in the new update for the Veiling as well, because well, I weren't expecting to drive this today. Bob came on stream before and said I could drive it, so massive thanks to Bob. I just have to point it out, Josh, because you just get one person that is constantly ends up spamming the chat going, I want beta, I want beta, I want beta of the map, I want beta of the bus, etc, etc, and you know, at least if I've warned them, then you get the drift. Slightly early. Probably 2 minutes early. I will just turn the buzz off actually, because if I skip time we might end up crashing the game, so I'll just hang on here for a second. How are you, Josh, anyway? So I'm presuming Fully will probably get some Arkala based repaints done for the Veiling. I don't know what will be done for it, whether you'll have, I'd imagine probably a generic livery like that one over there will be done. I don't know whether he'll get a 60s done for it or not. I think the B8 has got the 22 on. So I don't know, I might, well, we'll have to see, but I'm presuming he'll probably get the standard green line. I think Mac's doing the heritage green line for it as well, so. Yes, Arkala will be released. He spent far too much time on it for it not to be released. It's not a small map. The 63 to Pendle and the 64 to Pendle from Arkala is about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. And so it will be released. When, I can't tell you. That sounds like I know, sorry, I don't know, and even if I did, I wouldn't tell you. Fully will release it when he's ready to release it. There are some junctions that was awful. However, a lot of them were not actually that bad. Most of the junctions that were awful was on a hill. Like this junction that I'm on now, I did, and even though it weren't brilliant at the time, on the second, well, no, it was alright pathing it, sorry, but on the second, it took me 2 attempts to get the traffic light phases right, because if you remember on the last beta, the traffic light phases were all over the place and you ended up getting stuck there for about 90 minutes before you could get through the lights. However, the second attempt I got it and it seems to be working fine. This junction was a nightmare because it's on a hill and it involves trams. So it was, you know, it depends. So it depends on the junction. A lot of the junctions were alright. Most of the junctions are simple, just like T-junctions, stuff like that. Like that's perfectly fine. But it's junctions like that last one that's on a hill and involves trams and stuff. It gets a bit more complicated. The junction editor will be a lot easier if you could use deltas. That's the main issue with it, and it's the main issue what makes doing junctions on hills almost undoable, because in OMSI you have 3 options for hills. You have obviously your start gradient, your end gradient, and then you also have a thing called delta, which like kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It kind of like combines the start and end gradient into one, and it just lifts the road up. So if you say put a delta of 3, it'll lift the end point 3 meters higher than the start point, and it'll create a gradient in between. However, the junction editor, although it has the start and end gradient, it doesn't have the delta, which means it also doesn't have what's the word? So on your gradient in OMSI, if you've got a gradient of 1 in the junction editor, it's 0.01. So because in the junction editor only works to 3 decimal places, it means that you can only really do gradients to 1 decimal place in OMSI, and you can't use a delta, which makes the roads on gradients very difficult to pass. Well, so it kind of, doing junctions like that was hard work, but they're pretty doable. You can manipulate the pathing to do what you want. It just makes it a lot harder work, obviously. But to be fair, pathing and doing junctions and stuff is probably one of my favourite parts about building a map. I like doing the road layouts and stuff like that, making interesting road layouts, doing stuff like that. Where putting trees down and stuff that like Fully likes, it doesn't bother me. That's the bit that I don't like. I need to update my junction video because I've learned a lot more things that you can do in the crossing editor since then. But thank you very much. There's probably a way of redoing the junction editor so that you can use deltas and stuff. Because essentially what the junction editor is it's like, because OMSI just use obviously scripts, so it takes the junction cube and adds a script to it for the pathing. So there is probably a way you can script in deltas, but I wouldn't know where to start doing that. Yeah, a lot of maps don't bother with junctions on hills, and it's always bugged me that not many maps do junctions on hills, but until I started trying to path junctions on hills and I realised how difficult it is. If you've got a junction on a steady gradient, so it's a constant 3 meter gradient for example, then it's fine because you can make it flat and angle it in OMSI. However, if it's on a changing gradient, that's when it becomes more complicated. Yeah, placing buildings is fun. It's just trying to, like I said, we all have our own favourite parts. Like some people can quite happily sit down and place 200 trees and not be bothered. I'm not one of them people. I would much rather be doing road layouts and stuff. But that's what, with Stoughton, I've tried to avoid, because what I've done in the past with my previous maps is I've built massive road layouts, but then I've not wanted to go and build on them. So I build a really nice road layout and then I won't want to go and do scenery on it. So then I build more roads because I want to do work on the map, but I don't want to, like, you know, place buildings and stuff like that. So then it just becomes a continuous thing where you've got a map with like 30 routes, but none of it's got scenery. So when I did Stoughton, I said to myself, I need to just get my head down and do the scenery as I'm building it, and it worked a lot better. Another thing I like about this map, yeah, that Arkala is a very realistic feeling map, even from the fact that each individual town has slightly different bus stops, there's different lampposts through the map. Just little things like that make it really realistic, and it's something that's overlooked in OMSI maps. The road layouts all feel realistic, the routes make sense, it feels like driving. It's, as I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't think you was here, Josh, there's not many maps that I can quite happily sit down in an afternoon and do a 3-hour return trip. Because one, there's not many maps that have a 3-hour return trip, but two, I would get bored of doing the same route over and over again. However, Arkala, I can just do it all day. I could drive 3 or 4 return trips and it doesn't faze me. I'm completely in it. When you get to the other end, it doesn't feel like you've been driving for an hour and a half, because you come around the corner into like Pendle and you think, oh, I'm here. You know, like I don't know how to explain it. It's baffling. You just don't get bored of it. See, Smarden is interesting because, as he's always said from the start, the map isn't about realism. It's about having a tight, challenging map, and I respect him for that, because if he would have passed it as a realistic map, then no, it would be, I don't want to say pants, but it would be down there. However, he's always said it was never about realism, it was never about anything like that. It was about a challenge for you as a driver, and it does that very well, to be fair. And it's not that bad of a map to drive. The scenery is questionable in places, but for a first map, it's really not that bad. I do think it has a bad name, and not like the name of Smarden is bad. I mean, it has a bad reputation, and I don't think it deserves that. It is, even though I don't drive it really, it's a weird one. It's like, I get where he was doing with it, but I don't think people understand that it's not meant to be a realistic map. It's meant to be fun and a challenge, and it does that very well, like I say. So, you know, it's whatever you're into. If you're into a mega realistic map, then no, you won't play and you won't like it. But if you want a good challenge and you want a route that will push your driving skills to the boundaries, Smarden does do that very well. You have B7s near you. We have one Euro 5 one near us with Diamond. I think it's turning. We have one Euro 5 near us with Diamond. However, they have a couple of Euro 4s, but we don't have many B7s anymore. No, First have gone. That is a very tight corner, I love it. Yeah, no, First has gone. We don't really have them anymore, unfortunately, because I do love B7s. They are one of my favourite buzzers. From what I've seen about Stagecoach Man, it does look really nice. But the problem with OMSI is you will never please everyone. So, if people don't like it, then that's their problem. At the end of the day, people won't like Arkala. and people moan that the routes are too long and etc, and you just gotta ignore them because everyone's got their own opinion. Yeah, the Freeman's objects do make it laggy, and also you can't redistribute them, so they become a pain. Yeah, the problem with OMSI maps is that there's not many that have problem with write and drive stuff is there's not many devs who have released objects. Like if you look at Arkala, pretty much everything is custom. However, obviously these buildings are for Arkala, so unless you know how to use Blender and can make your own buildings, it becomes very difficult because not many people release their own objects. Not many people release objects and object packs, so it does become quite dodgy in that sense. Hiya, Johnny. Have you got pictures or anything? Like, have you got a thread or something? Yeah, Scattered does look really nice actually. I was saying that too, Fully the other day. Seeing as, I think it's your first map, I'm not 100% sure on that, but thought it does look really nice actually, and I am very looking forward to driving it. It doesn't look that bad. See, if you're saying it's rushed, then it'll be a good map to have for open toppers on. Yeah, well, the 64E this is. So it used to be the 64 went to Oxenden and Pendle, but he's renumbered it so the 64E now terminates early at Oxenden. There might be a few I think I'm going to do 2 folders for Stoughton. So I'm going to do objects that are exclusive to Stoughton, so that'll be like the bus station, stuff like that, stuff that I only want in Stoughton. But there will be like stuff like shops and stuff and like buildings that I'm happy for other people to use. So in the readme I will say objects in such a directory can be used elsewhere in other maps and can be redistributed. However, if you're using stuff out of objects in X, Y and Z, then you either need to, well, you can use them, but you need to list Stoughton as a dependency. Yeah, stuff like the roadworks, I'm not interested in making them exclusive. There's no point. Like, roadworks are all around the UK. However, stuff like, say, like the bus station, stuff like that, I do want that to be exclusive to Stoughton. So, like, I think, well, I don't know about Fully, how he will go, but I imagine if Fully did a similar thing, he would say, like, say, the QM Hospital, some of the bigger buildings in the city centre were all for Arkala. However, the houses and stuff that he's done, and like little cottages and stuff like that, can be used in other maps. Because them buildings wouldn't be, like it's like, say, semi-detached housing. There's certain types of semi-detached housing that you get across the entire country, so there is no point making that exclusive to one map. Where, like I say, like a bus station or something like that wouldn't be, and you would rarely find 2 of the same type of bus station, well, exactly the same type of bus station across the country. So they will be exclusive. The roadworks that I've got in Stoughton are custom built for by me. Yeah. But when people don't let other people use, well, basically, so if anyone, and this is to do with you as well, Leah, when Steve I know it got resolved in the end, but when Steve told you the other day that you can use his assets from Yorkshire in Scarborough, you can, but you have to list Yorkshire as a dependency. So if a dev tells you you're not allowed to use their assets, you can, as long as you list their assets as a dependency. However, if you want to redistribute them in your own map, then you will have to ask the permission, basically. So you can use what you want throughout the map, that's fine. However, you need, if you want to redistribute them within your download of your map, you do need to ask permission for that. I mean, it's not, I mean, to be fair to you, most devs will let you use stuff, as long as it's not like I say, exclusive buildings and stuff. That, like, say if it was like, if it said on the front, Yorkshire Amusements or something like that, something with a map name on that they don't want in other maps, most devs will let you use stuff in other maps if you ask them. But, I mean, Sila did say to you that you can use what you want from the Yorkshire 2.0 folder. However, what he really should have done is said, well, like Steve's stuff and Fully's stuff, you need to ask them about that. It's an awkward one. I mean, like I said with Stoughton, I will be as long as it's I'll make 2 folders and people can use what they want and include that folder in other maps. However, the exclusive stuff, that will, if you want that, that'll have to be listed as a dependency. But for Steve to do that in public, on Fella's Film, in a public channel, was wrong. There was no need for that. He could have done that in your DMs or whatever. He could have just, and he didn't need to be so harsh about it. He could have just said, like, listen, I don't want my assets included in the map, whatever. If you could either remove them or you can list Yorkshire as a dependency. That would have been okay, but the way he did it was just unnecessary. No, the roadworks will be fine. You can include them as a dependency. As long as they're in a folder that's like Reese's objects or something like that, you can include them in the map. I mean, it was Sila's fault because Sila did say that, you know, you could use whatever you want from the Yorkshire folder. However, Steve didn't need to bring it up in a public channel. I think one of the Fella's Film mods actually said that. There was no need to bring it up like that in a public channel. It was unnecessary. No. As long as, like I said, you don't need, if you are including other maps or other assets as a dependency, then you do not need to ask permission to use them in your map. That's fine. So say you wanted a German building from a German map and you didn't know how to get into contact with the dev of the map, then as long as you list that map as a dependency and you don't put it in your maps folder in your objects and you leave it in the original folder, then you don't need to ask permission. It's just like Steve said, when if you're including them in your folder and redistributing them with your map, you do need to ask permission for that. Yeah, there was no need to air that in public like you did. They weren't you, sorry, like Steve did. That was unnecessary. Because it just made you look bad then, like you not asked permission or whatever, and it just didn't need to happen like that. yeah, thanks, Stage Man. Then you can use them. You can put them in your map and redistribute with your map. That's fine. That's the only thing I ask you. I send you objects as long as they're in a folder marked as my name. Then you can redistribute what you want as long as I say so. Unless I explicitly say on an object that you can't redistribute, then. But if I'm making an object for you, then obviously you can redistribute that. But like I said, for what will be Stoughton bus station, that'll be, and Stoughton depot, that'll be exclusive to Stoughton. That's not going anywhere else. Exactly, like, because like you said, you panicked thinking that you couldn't release the map because of what Steve said. And to a new dev coming into map development, it is daunting, and for him to handle it like that was just unnecessary. Well, like I say, shops and stuff. It's like these shops on the left. If I'd made them, for example, I would not have an issue with them being redistributed. But stuff like, I don't know. I don't think there'll be anything around here. Oh, there you go. Like that Green Line travel shop, for example. Then I wouldn't want that in other maps. If that was like a first Stoughton travel shop, for example, I wouldn't want that in other maps. Anyway, this is the end of the 64E. Yeah, that is a good point, Leo. It is better to try and avoid payware stuff as a dependency. Buses aren't too bad because obviously you can just, if people haven't got them, you can remove them from the AI list. But for maps, you can't really remove a building from a map. I would try and avoid payware dependencies unless it was for like you had London as a dependency because you wanted the C400, for example, or something like that, where you can remove it from an AI list. Try, if you're doing buildings and scenery, try and avoid payware stuff as a dependency. Anyway, that's me done for the day. I hope you enjoyed the veiling and Arkala. I will do another stream in the next couple of days where I do the 64 all the way down to Arkala and the 64 all the way from Pendle up to Arkala and the 63E back to here, and do it vice versa. Pardon me. But I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the little preview of the veiling. When the update comes out for the beta, I'll be able to drive it a lot more and show you the B8s and the single deck street decks and stuff. But for the time being, I can't. Okie dokie, Stagecoach Man, thank you. Right, but thank you for watching, and I will see you maybe next weekend, maybe the end of this week. I don't know. I won't say anything because I probably won't stick to it, but I'll let you know. But thank you everyone for watching.